So I have to keep cooking because I'm literally in shorts and t-shirt underneath this jumper because I had a really nice walk in the sunshine, but I need to keep moving to keep the heat up. And then I'm going to have a shower and put some more clothes on. Anyway, I made that almond pulp pastry before. That's sitting in the fridge. I've got everything prepped for the next thing I'm making. So remember, I'm making almond pulp to use with this recipe, which is the Ratatouille Galette, using the Thermomix cutter. Now, I do this all out of order because I found that in the past when I've done this, and maybe it's because I'm using the almond pulp pastry, not the pastry recipe on here, I get leftovers of ready sliced vegetables. So I'm trying to avoid that this time. Although if I did, I'd just, make a zucchini slice and stick it in there or something. So it's not the end of the world, but I just thought I'd try and avoid that. So I'm going to step you through the pastry. So it's 150 grams of unsalted butter. Now, the previous one was in ounces. And let me see how many ounces we needed, so I can tell you what that is in grams. So, almond pulp galette. So we had 2.5 ounces of unsalted butter. So that is, 2 ounces is 50 grams. So that's about 60 grams of unsalted butter. So basically the pastry is probably smaller than this, which is why I don't need as much. I had 5 ounces of, so basically 9 ounces of flour. What we got here? So 9 ounces of flour is like 200 grams, a bit over 200 grams, 225 grams. So 90 grams of cold water, and I had 2 tablespoons. I only used dessert spoons, and salt, and I had an egg in my pastry. All right, so I think that my pastry is a slightly smaller volume, which is fine for us because there's only 2 of us. All right, so transfer it, wrap it in silicone, place it in the okay, so now this is asking me next to do all the chopping, and I'm going to come back to the chopping because, as I've told you, I found that when I've got it out there, I don't need as much as it said, and I end up putting stuff in the fridge and working out what to do with it later. So the weight, so this is just going to weigh in the amounts it says for 350 grams of zucchini, make sure they can fit through the cutter, and 350 grams of Roma tomatoes. Now, I'm not going to do as much as that by a long shot, but I'm going to get out of this, and I'm going into recipe detail, and then I can come down and find what I need to do next. All right, here we go. So this is what's going to go under, well, the Parmesan goes on top of the tomato and the zucchini, and the other mixture is going to go underneath on the pastry. So I've got 60 to 100 grams of Parmesan cheese. 104. That is so sad. Ten seconds, speed 9. And it just wants me to put it into a bowl. There it is, beautifully chopped. Remembering that when you chop your own or grate your own Parmesan cheese, because you can grate it in the cutter as well, then you avoid any additives and preservatives. So Parmesan cheese, ready grated Parmesan cheese, or any cheese for that matter at the supermarket, has anti-caking agent in it. Right, 190 grams of sun-dried tomatoes. All right, I'm a little bit under, but that was what was left in the jar. 30 grams of water. This is where your little MC can come into itself. That'll do. Chopped chives. I just use scissors. There's a few more of those. A little bit of salt. "30 seconds speed 3." So it's just chopping all that stuff up together. Giving it a bit more speed so it chops it up a little bit more. All right, so I don't know if you noticed, when I first turned it on, I could only go as fast as speed 3, which is what it wanted me to do. And then after it got there, I could turn further. So the thing about this is, it is guided cooking. I actually, if I hadn't turned it up further, I would be left with great big chunks of the sun-dried tomato. And now I've got it all chopped up there, okay? So it's to scrape down the sides. Smells so good. This is our sort of form of pizza, if you like. I love it. It's really good, and so does Andrew, so that's a good thing. Ask me to pop the lid on again. And another 30 seconds on speed 3. Whilst it's doing that, I'm going to get out my pastry. Okay. So this has been sitting in the fridge for probably about half an hour. So just say an hour, but it's half an hour. Here it is. It's firmed up a bit. I'm just going to turn it out onto the mat there. And it says 35 centimeters diameter. So that's quite big on here. And as I said, I may not actually have that amount of dough, but we'll roll it out. I'm going to put this on the top. Press it out a bit first. Get my rolling pin. She's pretty good. I mean, size-wise, I think. Unfortunately, my rolling pin is very big, which makes it a little bit harder to roll on the tray. All right. Well, it's not the world's best circle, but really, I'm not the fussiest person in the world either. As long as it cooks and we can eat it, I'm happy. All right, so there we go. I've rolled it out. On the baking tray, asking me to spread the tomato mixture over it, leaving a 4 centimeter border. So it's in the middle. Spread it out in a moment. With the husband arriving home, the doggy doorbell. Maybe not. So I'm just going to spread that out here. Delicious, delicious, delicious. All right, so I've got that. Now I'm actually going to go back. I'm going to swap bowls. Got a clean bowl because I don't want to get the bottom. I mean, I can put it in there. It's no dramas with the cutter, but why get the bottom of the cutter dirty? I've just put my blades in some funny way. Happened there. Oh dear. distorted thing happening there. All right, hold on. All right, put it in level. Okay. So using the cutter, first of all, I'm going to go back in my recipe. Or I could just go back here, recipe detail, down here, and I'm going to get to the bits. Here we go. Insert Thermomix cutter shaft. So the shaft goes in and it sits nice and smoothly that way. If I put it on that way, it's not smooth. So it needs to be on the smooth way. Okay. And then I'm going to pop the catching thing inside. It's wants me to have slicing side facing up. So slicing side is side 1. And that goes up into there. I put the feeder at the front, but you can put it at the back. It really doesn't matter. It's whatever works for you. Yeah. Zucchini at the widest part of the feeder. It's going in there. Then this is saying 30 seconds on speed 4. So if you have a TM5, this is how you would do it. If you have a TM6, you can absolutely swipe to the, and a lot of the recipes will just bring up the mode already, but I'll just do this. 2 seconds. And you see that I think is going to be enough for me. So I might just pop that into another bowl. There we go. That's beautiful. Okay, so it's the same way it's slicing again. And the reason they suggest Roma tomatoes is they fit better in here. That will go down like that, whereas if you had a round tomato, it's harder. So I've done 3 tomatoes and 1 zucchini, and I probably should have weighed it, but it was nowhere near the amount it asked for because I know from experience I don't need that much. Oh, got so much stuff everywhere here. So there's my tomato and there's my zucchini, and basically what I'm going to do is put it around like this, just alternating. Tomato, zucchini, tomato, zucchini, tomato, zucchini, tomato, zucchini, tomato, zucchini, tomato, zucchini, and so on all the way around. And I'm still going to have more than I need. Okay, here we go. All right, so I'm going to go in the next one. And this is why, see, you really do not need as much as it says in that recipe, but definitely for this amount of dough, because I'm still going to have extra. I probably could have done half the zucchini, I'd say, or 3/4, and probably 1 or 2 of the tomatoes. Needs to go in there. There we go. So I've got that left, and I've got that left. Okay, so okay, so it says spread the tomato mixture evenly. Starting from the outside, arrange alternating tomato and zucchini. And you know what? You could put bocconcini or something like that in here as well. And like, look, anything you want. finishing in the center, season with salt and pepper. We've got much salt there, but salt on tomato is just so important. Just delicious. Get the pepper. All right, next, fold over the pastry border. So all I'm going to do is try and bring this up from here. And I'm just folding over the edges. Okay, it's a little bit broken because my dough is probably a little bit soft. But that makes it easy to fix those little holes. I'll probably also roll it out a little bit too well on the mat. Okay, nearly there. So it's probably is a bit smaller than the recipe here. Sprinkle with the Parmesan cheese, which is here, which I've got way too much of as well. Well, it was a bit of extra, but I've got plenty there. All right, and then bake for 25 minutes until golden brown at 200 degrees. So there we go. That is going to be our dinner. I might wait a bit because I haven't had the yes, I'm on my way home from the husband yet. But that is sensational. And we will probably eat all of that, I would say, because it is just vegetables, a bit of the almond pastry. I'm not sure how many this is meant to feed. In fact, I'll have a look and tell you how many it's meant to feed. But as I said, this is a smaller thing. Recipe detail. Oh, it says 8, but I reckon we'll get through. If we don't get through, all of it, we'll get through a large part of it, because that's what we're having. All right. So I'll take a picky of that when it's finished, and I will post it with this recording. Have a good night.